All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about just the end of the classic rock era and a real life resurrection. Yeah, this is some crazy stuff as I do what I do in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. As another musician suffers a cardiac arrest, but then is revived and just I don't know, folks. Some weird stuff. Obviously, people are coming at me saying, "Well, Dave, people are going to die. You're just reporting on stuff, and you're just assuming they're all having these heart attacks and so forth because of your conspiracy theory. Your conspiracy. It's not my conspiracy theory. It's all over the place. If you look, and in certain places on the internet." And in the fake news media, you won't hear a peep about this because it's a cover up. It's a cover up. Now, this may have nothing to do with Dave Edmunds, all right? And that's who I'm going to be talking about. By the way, I'm a huge Dave Edmunds fan, so I'm happy that he came back to life. That's kind of the gist of this entire video. This would be great clickbait, right? Guitar player dies, comes back to life. True story, right? So Dave Edmunds is expected to make a full recovery after suffering cardiac arrest. All right. His wife Cece first revealed this over on Facebook, saying that Dave had suffered a major cardiac arrest and died in her arms. Wow. And she shared that to Facebook. I don't know if I would be sharing that much detail to Facebook. But the good news, he was revived by doctors. The doctors must have got there in a hurry. Cece, that's his wife, has now confirmed that Dave Edmunds is doing better. Now, if you're not familiar with Dave Edmunds, his biggest song here in the United States is one that you might hear on classic rock stations now and then. A song called I Hear You Knockin', which was a cover of an old blues tune, from what I remember. And later on, I was listening to Dave Edmunds during the Slippin' Away era, right after he was in Rockpile with Nick Lowe. By the way, a great band. You go listen to anything by Rockpile, and it's just good stuff. That's rock, man. That's the way it was intended to be. Dave Edmunds, big fan of Chuck Berry, a really great musician. And so obviously praying that he'll stay healthy for a little while. I know he's 81 years old, and people are going to say, he's 81. What do you expect? I don't know. I see guys on the news here in Florida that are celebrating their 100th birthday, and they look like they could be in their 70s. So it depends on a lot of different things, right? We won't say it's the genes because I don't want to get in trouble, because I hear there's a lady out there in big trouble for saying that she's got good genes. And I, I couldn't even follow that story. And if you know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, then you're not missing a whole lot of stuff. It's funny, when I got into Dave Edmunds, he was also producing the Stray Cats. And I became a huge Stray Cats fan, which was fantastic that during the 80s you could have like this rockabilly 50s revival thing going on. See, that's what I talk about with the whole musical diversity thing. In the 80s, even though the 80s had a sound, someone could come along with a rock album and do really well. Maybe change the production values here and there to make it fit, put a little gloss on it, but Dave Edmunds and the Stray Cats, great combination. And Jeff Lynne from ELO producing Dave Edmunds, especially on, I believe, that album with Slippin' Away, and then maybe one or two more after that. And I like that sound. It's like Dave Edmunds does ELO. It's good stuff. It got him on MTV for a little while. Slippin' Away was a big MTV video for, I don't know, couple of months way back when, and I played that song quite a bit both on the radio and on cassette. All right. So that's how I used to enjoy music in those days. By the way, he's also worked with Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr and his all star band. So people think highly of Dave Edmunds because he's a quality musician. But you don't report this too often. According to his wife, he died in her arms and then was revived by doctors. Wow. And Carlene Carter, who apparently is good friends with Dave Edmunds, and that makes sense. There's another name from the past, a blast from the past, another great musician. She says that Dave is expected to make a full recovery and be out of the hospital soon. Some really great news that we have all been waiting for. So anyway, the wife says, "Bless you, sweet, beautiful Carlene, for sharing the positive news regarding my amazing husband's miraculous recovery." Yeah, some good news to report. Do I know if Dave did you know what? No, I don't know. He's from what? The UK? He's a Welsh musician. I'm thinking he's over there somewhere in that area, unless he's here in the States. But there's a good chance that he did, the thing. And people are still asking, what does that mean when you say that? Well, I guess you'll have to go back and watch the old channel for coverage from that time period where I was going off like every other day, pretty much every day, not every other day, but it was getting irritating. And I'm still irritated by all of this stuff. I'm irritated to learn about how Ozzy died, and it appears that Dave Edmunds came close here. Came close. Hopefully they're checking for blockages and so forth. I know he's 81. People say, well, he's 81. I mean, people don't live forever. No, they don't, but they don't have to unnecessarily die before their, original expiration date, before the government got involved with it. You know what I mean? So, all right, I know. I'm just, what am I doing? I'm stirring up the hornets or whatever. I'm stirring them up. But anyway, people, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, all right? And then Patreon, buy me a coffee, which I am desperately in need of coffee at this stage. I have gotten dangerously low on coffee. So inflation is still rough out there, folks. It just is. I'm just telling it like it is. Gas prices where I am, they go down and then they go back up. It's like a conspiracy. It's a whole other video for me to cover that. So yeah, Patreon, buy me a coffee, YouTube memberships. If you want to sign up for a YouTube membership, typically YouTube members get early watching privileges. Isn't that exciting? To see videos before anyone else gets to see them. And then there's PJ Rock Super Chats, the guy who pretty much financed me for the last, 5 or 6 months. So thank you, PJ, for your help and everyone else. And make sure you like the videos and keep subscribing. More content coming your way. Hopefully, no other bad news in the world of rock, but this has a silver lining. Dave Edmunds was dead, and now he's alive again, which I guess would be a perfect segue for why you should put your faith and trust in Jesus Christ, because he did that no problem. And it was 3 days, and he came out of that tomb, and the stone was rolled away, and that's miraculous. You want to talk about miracles? That's the risen Savior right there. You put your faith and trust in him, and you got hope. If you don't do that, zero hope, almost zero. And people just tell me, yeah, I don't really care. I have zero hope and I'm fine with it. Well, I want the hope. So I'm putting all my chips over on Jesus. I know that's a blasphemous way to say it, but if I had chips, if I were gambling, which I don't really do, but if I were gambling, I'd put all of my money on Jesus Christ. That's what I would do. All right. What a tedious video. Who is this guy? When is he going to shut up? Right now.